Welcome to Gestalt. We have notes in the chat here that our next feature is June 25th with Rhoda Thomas. My website is there, amyhoskins.com. Please see the writing section for Gestalt and publications. There's also Gestalt on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be recording today, as you know, and we'll be on there a little bit later. There is the open mic list, and also we're welcoming Lesley Constable as our feature today, which is awesome.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, welcome. And there's more people coming in. Yay. Okay. It is a blessing for us to have each other here today. Gestalt Poetry Open Mic is a safe and fun place for all of us for spoken word, poetry, discussion, and celebration of freedom of speech. I'm honored to be with you all today, and especially for a wonderfully lyrical feature poet, Lesley Constable. We will have Lesley feature for 15 minutes first, then the open mic session, and then I'll read a few poems to close us out. So let's see. Lesley Constable is a poet and a painter, starting from an early age and encouraged by family who were in the arts. She's also a trained modern dancer. She writes, paints, draws, and dances on a daily basis. Occupationally, she is proud to have made her living exclusively as an arts worker, an art critic, writing for a daily newspaper in Ohio, also a university studio arts instructor, an art gallery curator, and who also taught art history at other colleges and universities. Her work, both poetry and painting, is frequently associated with the term magic realism, and she's often noted or described as a visionary artist. She is most often linked as being associated with or from the lineage of the US beat poets. What is paid attention to in her work is what is behind the scenes and often not often or directly visible, the dream state or the workings of the subconscious mind. She is project-based and has also organized and staged many collaborative and poetry visual art events. She is a US and UK dual citizen who lives variously in both countries, but has most frequently lived in Mexico. So please unmute your mics and let's welcome Lesley. Thank you.
Woo. Yay. So happy to be here. Can't wait to hear everyone in the open mic too. So I'm just going to read a lot of really recent things, and I've been in a very experimental mode lately, just having fun. I really do pay attention to form, and it's really important to me, but also to just art is any form of art is just like a form of I think sacred play. So I've been very playful lately, so that's what I'm going to do. The first one is surprise me with your beauty. Surprise me with your beauty. At only times can I see hidden from me. Thrill me with your darkness at the depths it will reach, and I will not fault you, coming into the light as I do to see you emerge. Your journey needed to know that there is a difference, the difference between that you travel. It is not the same. You are not only that you travel. It is not the same as you. The beginnings of you come from a grounded place. The light, the dark, now in place as two, the thinning, the deepening of twilight, the light that is itself the dark. And to know it better, you travel there between the worlds, and the balance, it is your strength, not your flaw. And I am humble as I watch your brilliance as you travel and yearn for a glory I cannot have, as you have, with a certainty that you know, the knowing that space is both empty and full, the both and the neither. And I want for nothing but to watch, to see you in your passage. And the next one is called Edge. It comes to this, the end of something, and if you're lucky, the beginning of another, this wide ocean of it, all the possibilities or nothing, and you pause. If you have any sense, you either lock yourself in a room, pull the covers over your head, and in the tent made there, the now cloistered space, which allows just enough room to breathe, you sob or walk. And why? Because we do not know how it will go. We sob for our innocence, realizing it is there, the fluttering, frightened bird unsettled by the too much that finds its way to us and takes nest in our messy existence, believing the boundaries will hold, the knowledge we hope is there, shelter when needed. We are soft when we might be soft or not. It's just that we know the wind will blow and scatter our protected self to the wind, or at the juncture of realization, unthawing, to re-enter our existence and fully, freely being in body and take form again. We walk the well-trodden path, or wild as we are, the other path that leads us there to the sea. And at the edge, we look. The next one is very, very recent. And yeah, anyhow, I'll just read it. Pleasure principle. Take off your clothes. Feel what it's like to be naked. Unbound the body, released. The heavy that you also breathe while feel. Dallies for a moment, reminded by breath to flirt with skin, remembers in the gentle slap of air to play and tickle the surface, the soft waves of sensation undulating down from surface to interior, moving you as semi-submerged, still above water. You are moved, then calm, aligned, your feet present, anchored in sand, alert to the stretch, glorified of you, each part now working as one, as whole. You are moved, then calm. You are there again in body, shining, naked, and whole. This next one's called quiet. If you're quiet enough, flowers grow out of your head, for you have taken root. If you are still in being there, from and in the point of existence you live in, you become a pool of light. And if the breeze whispers upon the water to move it, you emit the sound of stillness, of water just having moved. The birds then listen, and flying as close as they will to better hear you and respond, will join sound, playing with it. The sound of stilled water as it moves. The grass tickles your feet now, and now touching down so to embed themselves in each blade, now as all a blanket resting upon earth, but fading deep below in soil. And you are, and you as stillness, in your stillness, resting so on the plain, the steady ground above, the ground below, these planes of existence, above, below, joined by sound, joined in play of breeze, above the changes of water and the always of the byways, interlacing and connecting the above with below. And you anchored, look above to see by day the sun, by night the dark sky, and sometimes the moon in its skies, and you rest there, and you rest there, and you rest. Then the next one is called the Confusion with Birdsong. I thought it was me waking odd. I hear, but at the same time feel a bird singing, emanating from the lower reaches, reaching deep. It echoes across my being. And in my being, a pattern on the note he did locate, he did, is as I am, as in words, I am the roots, and as the roots of a tree, perhaps the bird roosts in my branches, close to my heart, and from that it sings its human rumblings, the human rumblings to the outer reaches of my branches. So the next one's called Heart Moon, Two Lights. Heart as big as the moon, and with us glowing softly in the dark night sky. heart like a stone which will fall of its own accord, and when it needs, overfull, to hit bottom and splat under the weight of it all, its sorrow over the world and under existence, pushing it up against the love that is ours alone, and the moon's a kiss in the shadow of an existence unseen and private, not held to us, by us, to own as ours, but that which, like light, the forces unseen, which change by day, by night to release us, let go the hold for us. We to continue on our path, this trajectory of time, the change by day becoming night, the night then being day, bathed in bliss, and we meet in the middle, this meshing of two lights, come to us by half, as both from sun and moon. Then this one's called Existential Hysteria. Looking out of my eyes, I'm simply in the world. Looking out, not aware of my being, only that I see. We set our sight on what lights us as we enter. The objects placed at strategic spots across the room. The objects there to tell ourselves and others who enter key points about us. They display who we are as we sit in comfort. They comfort us, these objects. They remind us of ourselves. Pay attention to the sick feeling of the soul. Crack me open, break me open so the light that is there, hiding there, can travel, find its way and get in, can get into the dark spots. Pull up from the earth the roots entwined with soul, the ones grown, not hooved. It is a vegetable death grabbed by the hair. The carrot screams, does not want to be stew placed after being drawn and quartered, boiled picturesquely amongst the other. An onion holds similarly plucked next to the potatoes. I want there to be something bigger than me. There is something so much bigger than me. It is too narrow now, I realize. I had known vastness with the many somethings, large, so large as to not understand that, and at times not to receive the glint of light, of sight, light, insight, to ponder the cold and warm, is to widen the narrows, widen the narrative, and thus widening, walk inside and settle, plump and plump, widening still this your constrained space self in which you are constrained, this place you find yourself narrowed into to fit. You, the expanding you, the universe of you will begin this tutorial, this widening, more spilling out and falling out, filling out in this space, expanding. You will explore and feel your feet. You will not walk just yet, but wait for something that will speak to you, opened up thusly. Us as you are you, and just must needs wait, and you will hear song then, the drum, the beat of it, and walk. What is there was only joy. But wait, there is a strong and bright light, hearkening as the sun, shining behind the cloud. What if there was only love? But there is only love, there inside the heart and each chest, radiating its message, sending it out into the waves of existence to travel with and through. A stranger to my tongue, the voice, the tongue, a stranger. Looking out of my eyes, I am simply in the world, looking out, not aware of being, only that I see. And so my final one is called, Is it easier to remember or forget? When diving deep, remember you will need more oxygen. I know what is sacred to me, but it is wordless. It does not have names. I am asked to not say. I forget to be beautiful today, but I will remember tomorrow. I will remember tomorrow as the light of day dims, turning into night. I have a lot of questions. I now see that they were always there. I was just not ready to know I could think above them at the same time. I thought about them. Life is more sentimental than poetry or unicorns, and I now see, I remember when he arrived at the moment of no return. I was there and I remember what paths water takes and how it travels. We are not prepared to know these journeys. We can only guess, but only if we have a mind that will travel as water. I'm asked to not say, the light is dimming, and I forget to be beautiful today, but I will remember tomorrow. The slow dance of us in the night kitchen, circling, knowing what to say, knowing what not to say, winding and winding down as we, circling towards the not saying. We sit facing one another, looking outward, looking inward, not looking at each other, as in being seen, as in seeing clearly. For in the inner mind, in seeing clearly, this is not necessary. Or in the inner mind, traveling from soul to soul, quietly stirring our cups of tea, each our own. The spoon circles in the cup, as sure as we in our dance, the dance around ourselves on cue. We lift the spoons out of the cups in unison, flick with a flourish, and place them to the side there, to be ready to begin again, to restart us as two spoons, to rest and be there at our sides. So that's all for my set. Thanks, everyone.
Oh my gosh. Everyone, please unmute and
Yeah,
give
that's
Lesley a big
really
hand.
Yeah, brilliant.
That was beautiful, Lesley. Thank you.
That's lovely.
Transcendent. It was like a
Beautiful.
meditative exercise. I was like, yes. Oh, it makes so much sense.
She's a
And I
Zen
love the
master.
teacups. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said she's a Zen master.
yes.
Agreed.
Beautiful words. Just the phrasing, the tempo, but also, can you come and read to me at night before I go to bed?
To all of us, please. Oh,
Thanks.
That was
that's a
just
lovely idea.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Wonderful, Lesley, as always.
Oh, thank you, Rorschach. Thanks, everyone.
And please read the notes in the chat because we got a lot in there. So.
I shall. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much. What a blessing. Thank you. Wisdom. Okay, let's start the open mic. First up, do we have Laura Greville?
Here.
Yay. Would you like to go now?
Yes, thank you. And
Okay,
I'm glad
lovely.
to finally join you all and get to hear Lesley. That was a wonderful treat.
It was. Oh my gosh.
Very, very good for the soul and encouraging. Okay, I'll read one poem, and it's called The Plain Lands. The smell of dust, the yellow haze, the instant sweat, the flitter and flutter of palm trees, the patter of heart in dread. Houston, and soon the dinosaurs will show. And they are dead, those who come mooing, asking for recompense. We give them bananas and locks of our hair, offer purses from Walmart to those who come weeping, asking for band-aids for the bullet wounds. We offer them 2 for 1 tacos by Bill, a haircut and toenails at Tammy's, and recommend the salsa at noon to those who wear twigs to disguise their skulls, while we eat wool to pronounce the words that they are dead. I find their tracks in the mud, Tyrannosaurus teeth embedded in my head. Follow, follow, the bayou calls. Laissez les bon temps rouler. At 1, a meeting at the swamp of oil. The rig wades in, the hurricane approaches. Gale force winds are sent to mend, rescind words not well meant. Play, dear triceratops, jump rope. Dare find me fresh hope. Tell the boy who once loved me that I'll be found on the city street. Tell the boy who kept his hands hid deep to pick my bones by the stego humps. And they are dead. These graffitied snouts and tails, still called a cow town by local Long Islanders too young to recognize primordial. This city left Jim Crow mooed on to integration, where the Vietnamese have settled Viet Town, a city of restaurant sinks on skyscrapers, on telephone poles, on alligators that simmer Nguyen's Vietnam War memorial with crawfish and noodles and pho ben, served hot on Radio Saigon, Houston. Have you seen the harbor open his mouth to yawn? He has swallowed the Frenchman La Salle, the name of your grandmother, NASA, and the moon. The dino tracks keep on a-comin'. Hey, big fella, take a swig of bayou water, take a swig of Texas crude. Laissez les bon temps roll. Thank you.
Do you have another?
Well, I thought it was just 3 to 5 minutes. I thought that was about 3 minutes.
Well, what do y'all think? Let's do another.
More. We want more, Laura.
Okay.
Go for it.
Since
One more.
I didn't actually pick that because it related to the recent tragedy. I just thought, and now I realize, whoops, but I can find a happier one. 1 second.
Okay, no worries.
1 second. Okay, wait, sorry, I'm in the wrong part. Should be here. Let's see. Yes, okay. Okay, this is called, and is a little more in line with Leslie's, I Celebrate Myself. And the prompt was we should write something to celebrate ourselves as often poets don't. And it is a COVID era piece. I celebrate myself at the jeweler's today. I celebrate this new day. I start to cry in front of the clerk, mask towards mask, that intimate facing at a distance, the echoed resonance of life between strangers, asking, with my eyes directed at her being, at her sturdy, handsome humanness, if she could fix my watch. I wonder if I should explain. I'm celebrating. It's my first day out to do a normal thing that's not food shopping or pulling the bin up and down the street or throwing a few words at a dog walker up on the lane, where I leash myself, walk hat over belly button, that same stretch of bumpy road I have walked for 10 years, where on Easter Sunday the black-faced sheep had twin lambs. I smiled like a sheep at the clerk, who is maybe 30, half my age, but I have an idea she'd understand. She carries her grandma in a sling, carefully, like contraband. I celebrate myself, I say, you could too. I start to cry, she starts to laugh and sigh. We adjust our masks, start a campfire on the floor, and with her gran, we roast marshmallows on silver olive skewers from the store and sing 100 bottles of beer on the wall at the mall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brilliant. So brilliant. Thank you. Read your comments. You got lots of great comments. Thank you so much. Next, we have Anjetta Williams. Is Anjetta here? Angie?
Yes, I'm Angie with the J,
There you
and I'm
are.
present and accounted for.
Yay, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. My first poem is a poem I wrote for Mother's Day to my mom about 5 years ago. It's called Blessed and Highly Favored. With the glow of the angels surrounding you, you walk in God's footsteps. You are covered by his feathers, and under his wings you find refuge. You are blessed and highly favored. You dwell in the shelter of the Most High and rise in the shadow of the Almighty. In all your ways, you've acknowledged him, and he has always directed your path. You're blessed and highly favored. With the belt of the truth and the word of the Spirit, and your spirit, you are a spiritual mother to all whom seek you. With the shield of faith and shoes of readiness, you give hope to all the lives you touch. Yes, you are blessed and highly favored. Blessed is she who has believed that the Lord has said to her will be all accomplished. Mom, you are truly God's precious jewel, one that has the highest value, love, and sacrifice. You are and always will be blessed and highly favored. And my second one is a shorty also. It's a tribute to our newly appointed first African American Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. It's a tribute to all the little trials and tribulations she went through being appointed. It's entitled Don't Judge Me. Don't judge me because I don't look like you, because I don't need the sun to color my skin a beautiful mocha, because my hair is naturally curly and flows in its own way. Don't judge me. Don't judge me because I stand tall like a Dahomey Amazon warrior, cause confidence and poise into the room in front of me, because I know love is colorblind, because I'm intelligently well written. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, but remember me, because I'm that mocha Dahomey Amazon with curly hair. My present is the definition of woman. I am the one dripping with authority and compassion. I am the uniquely historical mocha woman that sits in highest judgment of you. That's it.
Love it. Thank you so much. From the heart, definitely from the heart and the soul. Thank you so much, Anjetta.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you for being here. And now let's see. We don't have Clive. He wasn't feeling well. Richard Spisak.
Thank you so very much. Thank you all so very much. Already we've off to such a wonderful, divine start. Like so many of us, seen what's gone on and wrote some things, but I didn't want to go in that direction. We've all thought all the things that need to be thought, and I'm not going to try to speak to a poet's heart about this. I know you poets know what this has been. So I wanted to go in a lighter direction. So I want to share this for you. This is a poem of summer called Follow Me, Oh My Golden Bees. Up and out of our glowing geometrical home, our perfect living comb, to every bee dream, our theme, and gently fanned rest. Up, and out into the sacred sun-drenched garden, every aromatic flower's face, warmed by your gentle golden touch. See the arcing blessed rays, how each reachy beam buffets with its gentle caress every moment of life's growing flight. How every flower shines and shimmers with that very moment of your warm and generous blessing. How rich the velvet golden flower showers her blessing and casts its spell of warm sympathy that the dear plants so thirsty drink and endear moment by moment into their very fiber and being. Shine on, my sparkling silver wings, thy embracing warmth that does guide and bless all of the earth in its gentle, loving breath. Light our way with your warm, buttery blessing, for it's only by thy dancing rainbowed light that we find our path illumined across the delirious scented garden. And then, diving deep into the very heart of heaven's blossom, each beating, magnetic moment of your star fire, pulsating embrace thrills our very blood with your infinite golden reach. Deep will I dive into each flower's living heart while they dress me and dance me in their sweetness perfume. Your generous bounty on us all below warms us and delights every moment of our dazzling, bejeweled journey. Finding our way across the beneficent begarland glory, rich in your weighty golden handiwork. Grant us, we busy buzzing toilers, grant us that sweet sustenance from your scented, intoxicating, and so generous beams' great bounty. Diving deep from our arcing, soaring path down into the deepest flowery center, guided ever by those all-reaching, inner-penetrating beams. Each iridescent beating flower heart pulses in an intoxicating bounty of ambered sweet beads of dangerous delight. Cover us in your fine powdered glory as we drink in these pretty flower fountains, nourished ever from your streaming, generous heart. I fairly swoon and sway, so bedecked am I from your amorous scented embrace. Carry we home our golden booty from the very shining flower heart, back into our dearest sweet and golden glowy home. Deliver we out our charge of grace, pour we out each journey's bounty lifted from our labors in your scented, richly flavored fruit. Sunbeam guided, every flying moment in your intimate and distant reach, fiery licking power. Our great home, but the geometric shadow of your golden glancing bounty, our innermost strength only flows from your vital power's truth, no flower's shining glory except through your showering glory spent. We returned, bedecked, rich, and happily burdened by your gracious garden's bounty, so soaring, guided, and gilded by our great sun's powerful blessing. O great and golden sun, whose unblinking power guides and warms our flighty path, and ever richly rains her golden blessings on every garden shining face. Light, O ever light thou our airy road, and be forever our endless fountain of starry grace. In starfire we live, in starfire we are warmed, in starfire we are fed, in starfire we are ever guided.
That was delightful. What a wonderful journey. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. So vivid.
Thank you.
Beautifully done. Thank you. Do we have Ms. M? Ms. M? No? Okay. Bryan Daly is at a memorial. He's not here. Joy Johnson.
There I am. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So I just want to, I signed up with this little class with World Beyond War, all about why we should not be having wars anymore, like we're grown-ups and stuff. And I admit that I went into it with every intention of the assignments that they give, that I would use them as poetry prompts, okay? So here are the 4 assignments that I have written for this class, if you will put up with me. And I can't remember if I read this first one last month or not. And if I did, I'm sorry, but I'm going to read them all as a group. So you have to listen to it again. Okay. Oops, here we go. This is called the After War Clan. We were the chimpanzee clan, the meat-eating, sharp-toothed, banshee, poop-flinging clan. We ran with scissors in our hands, no intention to stop sinning. War was what our kind made, that made us like the ants. Brutal streak, tear and call out for more, something, a hole in our soul. We saved the worst for last. We suffered no scruple when the appetite struck. Why not? If blood-soaked pelts, then we bargained on the rain to help us remember hearts not so hardened, mother's succor and solace, things that spoke to what was still mammalian in us. And tranquil for a spell, we forgave ourselves. We were the bonobo clan. We answered only to the woman and the vulva. Our men will get a smackdown for carrying on, for forgetting how to humor the very human body and its pleasure thicket focused core. It's all about the love. Politics are resolved in that grotto, that ripe tomato, but something keeps us at bay. Shame? We aspire to become angels, bodiless, spiritus, not of this earth, even though each molecule belongs to her. There she is, pulling us into her hollow. So we fight that, maintain our exceptionality, not dirty. Some of the time, we might like to read books, not fuck, not cave in. We are the Homo sapiens clan. So many hangups, so susceptible to a word or a few from almost anyone, conditioned to fawn and favor one who has more of what we don't. And we think we don't have much because they tell us it's so. Perpetual disaffection, never, ever, ever just good enough to look up at the deep, deep sky and know we're home. Sit still, be fulfilled by the apparent simplicity of gravity, our mother's hug. Maybe there's a way, maybe a process that could bring us back to ourselves, to appreciation of sun and rain and things nearby and plain as day. We are the passionate, compassionate clan. We don't know what we stand for or where or when. Everything is given to us and we can't make our own. And bafflement may equally likely bite as kiss the hand that feeds. It's hard to be this confused, this filing cabinet of old news mixed with the new, head over heart, over heels, over head. When the lead strikes, we finally recognize, somnambulant, what the end might just imply, birth and death between gulfs of unknowing, when the pattern undergoes recoding or escaping being, a respite, what we could have been, quiet and not so damn needy. We were glorious and furious, shouting to the air, hair-raising anger, fouling the water, building the walls and the silos and the bombs. We were magnificent in our cups, thoughtless, with no memory, no ingenuity for keeping it in our pants. We were frightening and frightened, blaming it all on the evil within us. We were here once. The next one is called Peace Dividend. That we might believe again that suffering rightly has an end, which we can imagine a striving towards. That what we have might not come our way at another's pain. That a democratic sufficiency and decentralized self would begin to remove that bane of current reality, that the idea of never enough sinking into bliss of enoughiness. That needs match wealth, match actuality unclouded by the fog of war, the lie of other idea of necessity, the lack of integrity, wishing on another what is really unwishable inside one's abode. That diversion and reimagining rights and societies could have such a peace dividend and return a pleasant sobriety to the fraternity of all humans. I believe it's doable, but not only that, probity encodes us with the reward of morality if we no longer dissemble, instead disarm. Oops, cat is on me, sorry. Next one is called Three Friends. I had to interview three friends for this writing assignment, and I turned it into a poem. They know. Cut defense in half and balance the budget. Resources to order energy systems. Fund needed social programs, said friend one, and I accord. When a houseless man finds his way to my street, he is the cost of war. Then said friend two, destruction is its only mission, of lives, of bridges, of Gaia herself. He added, borrowing to support it is a loan taken out on our future generations. When I think of my students, I am sad. Then the third friend said, profit motives swallow the poor. Through recruitment, so much ruin of humanity via suicide, PTSD, addiction. These are my people. There's not much more to include. And then they all intoned, war is a racket. And last one is called Letter from the Earth. My dearest warmongers, who create so many weapons to hurt my flesh and pierce my hide to drill my depths, I say, I love thee, because that is benumbed nature to me. Let me make you see it as my one and only way to be. My truly righteous love is complete, unconditional, as they say, love only meant for a goddess to hold, and you can see why. Invitation to be abused by those with deceit, with hate, with hard hearts, with equations to manipulate yields, never counting the costs. So I weep and I love, though I hurt, I limp, I am maimed. For untold whatnots, doodads, and pretended cud of comforts that cause griefs abounding to my skin, which stretches over all. Each being, each feature, every way you can see, air, animals, soil, sea, hurting me, you cannot hope to flee truth. You kill you, inelutable. Thank you.
Wow, please unmute for Joy. That was amazing, Joy. No surprise, but just amazing.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I see. I made an A, except that I'm missing 2 assignments, so I probably didn't make an A, but I cranked out 4 anyway.
You
Thank
did a
you.
great job. Thank you. Do we have Rawle Iam James? I don't think so. I don't know. Michael Minute.
Yep.
Do you have you? There you are. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I was just turned away for a second. Thank you so much for having me. And Lesley, you were amazing. I'm so glad I showed up to listen. And so far, everyone amazing. So I have a couple I'd love to share. With my poetry, I just write it, I put it out there, and then you do with it as you may. First one is called Equinox of Change. This rhapsody of words is a yawn that I hope will take you on a celestial journey to where love is the invitation to go beyond imagination. You see, she took my hand, and in an instant, we were transported to the emptiness of the beginning. We transported through black holes and wormholes linked only by moments, back to when the playground of time and space was nothing but a thought. Surfing galactic waves as we slingshot around the sun, eyes wide open to the lucid adventures of duality's realm. Gravity ripped us into these carbon-based bodies of pleasure and pain, with an intensity that brought us forth crying to the equinox of change. 30 kilometers per second, one heartbeat expanding everywhere in all places. Out of the dark, light spewed purpose into the futile and fertile void, bringing forth my lover's child. Truth by design, we created stories of evolution to make sense of the mayhem, if only to find our place in the vastness. The tears of my lover washed over me to baptize the rhythm that propels life forward on this, the sixth rock to the sun. Our love is complete. and allows us to hang our heads as we fight our soul's purpose. Sitting at the intersection of ignorance and discomfort, we are trapped in the illusion of permanence as we swim in the dark conflicts of our minds. Our patience and tolerance stretch beyond its elasticity as we await a snapback to sanity. The invisible energy that drove our adventurous spirits out of the caves is the same energy of self-realization that fuels our fears of the unknown. It is the uneasiness of knowing that leads to questions that cannot be answered. This is a battle that wages within each living soul. We search high and low to the four corners stretching beyond the fringe to feel alive. But I was born from your breath to die. Death's value comes from time, yet one is guaranteed and the other isn't. You close the door in my mind while opening a window in my heart for wisdom's glow to shine. From a near distance, voices of generations past echoes the cry. Are we willing to lose everything, to have everything? While in the same breath from a distance, the voices of tomorrow's souls whisper faint murmurings of a daydream. Are we willing to lose all that we value, to value all? And as the witching hour approaches, I fear the increasing seconds building to my lover's midnight. I pass through ignorance into the chamber of knowledge, and out of despair, I empty my cup of eagle's water to quench my thirst of hunger and misery. For out of the perpetual fires of conscious souls, my temperance rises like the phoenix silhouettes against the full moon splendor. Shame and guilt challenge my night's work, but a new strength arrive from my lover's light. Out of the murky waters of doubt, I walk into the sunshine of my redemption, casting shades of worthiness. I have freed my mind's eye of scarcity song to sing the chorus. We all breathe the same air, walk the same earth, drink the same water. We all come from woman, and death will visit us all. The universe is my lover, for all creation is truth. End of poem. And I'll read this one. I wasn't sure what I was going to read today, but I always kind of just trust the moment, and when I get the goddess bumps, and that's what I'm going to read. And this poem, in light of the craziness that we've been living and some of the harshness that has happened over not just the last few days, but the last couple of years, is to remind us that we are human and that we are here to experience the good, the bad, the ugly, and the beautiful. So this poem I call To Be Human. I was asked the other day if I was feeling burnt out. And without thinking, I reacted with a quick no. Why do you ask? As I pushed back at my friend's question. She said, don't get me wrong. You look good, but tired. My knee-jerk no was me being triggered. But why did I? Was there truth in what she had asked? And if so, why was I triggered? And if there was no truth, why did I get triggered? Truth be told, I am tired. I'm tired of the illusion of the fight. Women's issue, gender equality, indigenous rights, Black Lives Matter, religious freedom, economic equality, sexual freedom, identity politics, climate change, global warming, wealth gap disparity. Did I miss anything? All I see is humans denying humans. And that's what exhausts me. It drains my empathy like a vampire latched to my neck. I feel depleted of intellect as I wrestle with the big question nestled deep in my being. What does it mean to be human? Like somehow we're the cat's meow. From up looking down, no color could be seen or gender identified, just maybe a speck. Yet us versus them has us trapped in a prison of imaginary lines. parliamentary democracy, republic, communism, green, liberal, libertarian, socialist, progressive. We're all under gravity's totalitarian control on this not so flat earth. Now, gravity may deny me the ability to soar with the birds, and my eyes may not be as sharp as when I was a younger man, but I only see humans denying humans. So maybe I am tired, maybe I am burnt out, but I still believe in the illusion. I haven't lost hope. What does it mean to be civilized and intelligence as we spin 460 meters per second in this, the paradox of the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful? To me, that's what it means to be human. End of poem. Thank you and blessings to all fellow poets. Love you all.
Wow. So wise, so beautiful. Reminds me of Lesley in that it's transcendent. It's this wonderful meditative journey flowing from your mind and your soul. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Do we have Michael Manu? I believe that's how you say it. No? Okay. Jeff Cottrill,
Yeah, I'm here.
welcome.
Okay, so this one is called my stand-up routine. Good evening. My name is Edgar Edmund Van Costaparty, and welcome to my stand-up comedy routine. Some of you may remember me from past events, from my intersectional poetry on post-colonial themes, which has been published in numerous academic literary journals. But I would like to try something altogether different tonight. This is my new experiment with stand-up comedy. With this, I hope to achieve the common contemporary goal of comedic stylings, that is, to use humor to drive the audience into paroxysms of laudable social justice. To that end, I shall deliver 3 jokes in my stand-up comedy routine, which I hope will deliver their messages in an accessible manner. Here is the first joke. The question: why did the chicken cross the road? I shall repeat the question. Why did the chicken cross the road? And now for the answer. The chicken crossed the road in order to join the demonstration held by the vegan organization in front of the slaughterhouse, protesting the cruel and inhumane treatment of chickens, turkeys, and other poultry animals in the meat industry, due to a farming establishment that values profit and production over animal rights. That is why the chicken crossed the road. I hope you all enjoyed that joke. Here is my second joke of the stand-up comedy routine. The question: did you hear the story about the one-legged jockey? The question once again, did you hear the story about the one-legged jockey? The answer: the story about the one-legged jockey is that he lost his left leg in combat during the Vietnam War, and this effectively ended his jockeying career. His life was further complicated by post-traumatic stress disorder, as well as the limited opportunities that our inequitable society offers to amputees, as well as veterans. The one-legged jockey spent the rest of his life as an outspoken activist for the rights of the downtrodden and the underprivileged, but his message went unheard by most, and he died in poverty and obscurity at the age of 37. He did not even live to see the Academy Award-winning movie about his life. That is the story about the one-legged jockey. I hope that this joke has met with your collective approval as well. And now for my final joke of the evening. It goes like this. The question: what is the deal with airplane peanuts? Allow me to repeat the question for those who were not able to catch it in full. What is the deal with airplane peanuts? Here is the answer. The deal with airplane peanuts is that they are a grave danger to passengers who may have allergies to these legumes. This risk is exacerbated by the enclosed and isolated environment of the airplane, thus proposing an extreme safety hazard for such persons. It is for this reason that I propose banning peanuts altogether from every airline menu. In the same vein, all meal and snack offerings in airplanes should be fully gluten-free, while sugar-free and salt-free options should be encouraged highly. Diabetes, obesity, and heart failure have cost too many lives in this world, and it is our responsibility to ensure that passengers do not endanger themselves through our careless neglect. That is the deal with Airplane Peanuts. It appears that my time is up, so thank you for listening to my stand-up comedy routine. My name is Edgar Edmund Van Costaparty. If you are available on Friday evening, please attend my planned set at the Waka Waka Club in Redneck Jim's quasi-comical showcase. I assure you that it will be a memorable and meaningful event. Good night. So that was a relatively new piece called My Stand-Up Routine. And again, some of you know, I have a novel for sale, Hate Story. Amy has a copy. I don't know, somebody else here might have a copy too. So I'll put a little bit of info on that in the chat.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful, refreshing take on our current events and deep issues that we have. And now we have Brett Phillips.
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you. I will go with, I'm usually pretty topical and current. So I will go with the flow of, I'll call this one Swolk. Oh, woke. I don't know how to handle it. I comment and say, no matter how old, no matter how young, no matter where it goes, if I eat too much salt, which is the S before woke, I get a little swole, almost like a sweet potato, becoming like a sweet potato fry, sitting out in a lot of sun. I wonder if I'm good. I wonder if I'm bad. I'm so woke. I'm so woke. I look at paintings and I wonder the atrocities they've led to. I sit and I wonder how fast things can spread. There's no wind, there's no wind, but I can be your sweet potato baby. The end.
Thank you so much, Brett. I love that you just speak from your heart, just impromptu. I love that you do that. Thank you for being here. We have James Turner. James Turner? No. Okay. Noah Levin. Welcome.
Hi, all. So this is called Autobiographical History of Art. Fire steals in seething moment. Passion is needed tool that must be expressed, or urgent need to action that explodes skin and creativity. Violently create. Spill soul and thought onto paper and create where there wasn't once. Out of nothing, something that always existed in the future, perhaps. Large swath of brush out of mind, all consuming. No one wants to pay me, but I must. Spare some food into an artistic cup. I think music and write rhythm thought because God made me this way. Tap, 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 and spray my brains on paper for all to see as best I can, abstract cut up of what I was trying to tell you. Multiple dimensions coming and going because black and white never existed except in Cliff Notes' version of life. Hard experience grime under fingernails as the push-pull tug of war that is all time ticks on by, and lost pages of book floats away, but I keep on shouting. This is what I have, damn it. And then, what am I gonna read? I'm not reading this. I'm reading, let's do this. This is an older piece. So this is, I actually wrote this in the middle of this like crazy, it was me and several other people from an old poetry group of mine, the Buffalo Readings, and a bunch of beautiful gutter bohemians, I think is the only way to describe them. So this was in the middle of like this poetry trip we were doing on the West Coast. I wrote this literally right in the center of it. This is called The Poetry Transients. I have 5,700 miles under my fingernails, but this week hasn't played itself out yet. So buckle up, kid, because this ride has kick-started the funeral wake in the dust. Out on the horizon, the storm was brewing, but we sailed through that mother twice in both directions through the snowed-in mountain passings and the landslides and the no visibility fog that those hot fuckers that sped by laying upside down on the side as we had the last laugh. And you know we laid waste in Big Sur, shouting our message while the band played its high-intensity jazz and debauchery flowed from both hands so freely you should have grabbed a cup. Shocking we arrived in one piece, but we put our lives in our own that night, and many laid shattered when the sun fell arriving on the scene. But that's behind now, and we're Seattle right now with Buffalo and Portland tomorrow. The fire seems to be blazing in our wake, and every time I check the news, people died behind us. Poetry readings shot out of the fires of hell, and everyone keeps asking for more. We will provide. And then there's this last piece. So this is, so first of all, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today to support Lesley's feature and anything Amy's doing. So, and there's several other poets here who are absolutely terrific. Some I've known and some I'm seeing for the first time. So I'm actually, you know, a lot of my stuff, I think people who know me knows my stuff like, you know, political or very to the throat. And that's not this piece. This piece is kind of calm. And the reason for that is, you know, we all, I'm sure we all have, like in my life, like, you know, I spend most of my time looking for my keys, right? And that's like 60% of my life. So so I just found I'd misplaced, I really swore I put it in a special place, but about an hour before this reading, I found my friend's ashes that I misplaced. And I can't put into words how over the moon I am. So I'm going to, or specifically, it was really what he was cremated with was a 67 Strat. So it was the best, it was like the remaining bits plus his ashes. And I wanted to turn that into a piece of artwork for ages. So this is a little more sedate. This is called Zoom, written to the sounds of the Commodores. Thoughts thinking about past moments slip through fingers and rainfall memories. Sidewalk pavement, bubble cabs, and gritty neighborhood while breeze caresses through the window and dreams seem so far off but always real to me. Finger on pulse, press record when buttons used to go click, leave a cassette memory for future generations. Pay phones, lined streets, can't beat the whiz, and Crazy Eddie was really crazy. I miss you, you know, goes to say hello to, friends ethereal. They paved it all over though. Robber barons with rents escalating. No one's from here anymore. Put my mind to yours and you can see it all as real as you and I and anything in front of me. Beauty with hardships too. Struggle to survive and no time to know how and why or who I am. Pause. Take a moment when fear dies down to even get to know me. Take my life. Take my being. You can't take me. The sun rises the same as every day. Hand over toll for food and bills to pay. Knowledge hard-earned at knife edge with white-knuckled grip. But now that music plays, vibe chill and comfortable. Past lessons paved today. I'll see you all over the Zoom. Pandemic global shutdown so we connect. Hit stop, hit play, record that new global mindset as we exist in our camera living room squares. Hello, I'm pleased to see you all today. Thank you all.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm speechless. It was so good. The trajectory of your mind is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Christine Dickinson.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I was just trying to type something for Noah, but maybe it will stay in his head a little while. Anyway, lovely to be here. This one is about May, and it's 55 years ago now, so let's shoot back to the past for a while. The present looks dodgy, doesn't it? The summer of You Need Somebody to Love, Jefferson Airplane. May 67, en route for Spalding, coaches jammed on the Tulip Trail, Hip folk crammed the Bulpool Barbecue Festival and paid £1 for Pink Floyd, Hendrix and Cream. We heard about it years too late for our summer of love. Our friends here had tied the knot, but we'd not met. No hopes nor dreams of a home in Lincolnshire, not yet. Other folks were the grown-ups then, getting wed. I was a Woolworths girl, post-school, filling in, buttering rolls for bacon on the sandwich bar, burying blushes behind the till when lads poured change with sweaty hands and turned a cheek to wink. The boss wore a perm like a toupee of cotton wool. Red cheeks she roared like a bull, urged us to bust a gut. At slack times we'd scoff snacks in sneaky breaks, titter at stockroom lads in their mud-hued overalls. High on smut, we'd poke fun pointing out a Mr. Right. I was the bee's knees. No more pea-green uniforms torn off the peg. Goodbye to those pink-faced sails of conical bras, fleshing out the bust size with fists clenched in the cups on haberdashery. We were the food staff, dressed in cross-wrapped lemon nylon, nails glossed, toned with orange slingbacks, clipping in clumpy heels ringed with metal blakies. I spent my shillings on college gear, running up a shift dress or mini skirt on mum's treadle machine. All we needed then, as now, was love, flowers in our hair, a black velvet band, a sunset, Waterloo, San Francisco, anywhere would do. Martin Luther King flashed by on monochrome TV. Kennedy faded in a diary. I heard no whipped-up dread of floods or foreigners. We were the lucky ones, still are, 50 years on, old folks at home, humming the same love song. Thank you.
Brilliant, so brilliant and vivid, lovely memories. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Thank you. Now we have Rorschach. There you are. I'm trying to contact him. Rorschach. Everybody, I mean, say Rorschach. I think he's gone away from him. We'll get him.
Rorschach.
There you are, Rorschach. Rorschach. Okay.
Rorschach.
Right. Okay. Now we have Kate Jenkinson. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, it's been brilliant listening to everyone, Lesley and Chris just now, and everyone in between. Wonderful. A couple of poems here. So, I wrote a poem, delicate and new, a sweet leafy shoot, so I watered it and the poem grew. Its youth entwined with mine, its promise flourished. I nurtured it in my mind. The poem grew thick and wooden, and thorns prickled its stem, its meaning missed the point. I cut it down, placed it in a vase, hurt by the beauty of its transient scent wilting. The poem's fragrance decayed. I shut the flower in my book and shelved them both together. When I found its petals preserved and aged between the dry leaves, I cried the tears that washed the hurt away. My poem flowered for the first time that day. I wasn't the most what's the right word for this as a poet? Can't find it now. I was a bit of a maverick, a bit of a rebel when I was younger. So in the sixth form, which is the senior part of school, I didn't conform, and it's called in sixth form, I didn't conform. I used to dress to identify with my set, like badgers, our black and white, obedience guaranteed acceptance and belonging, except I fuzzed and furred the boundaries. I edged the shades of navy blue towards turquoise and sea green. The canvas skirt faded to lightest grey and shrunk above the knee. The jacket, leather look and T-bird cool with metal pop badges pinned inside. I dared to flash my personality, spiky hair shouting my individuality, and clothes that loved the ride. Do I have time for one more? I do. Okay. This is called Poetry Chose Me. Poetry is my soul speaking. Is anyone listening? Poetry washed over me, reconfigured me from the ashes of burnout, reignited the spark that set my heart beating, skipping, tripping me up, helped me face life, slipping into a poetic embrace. It made me scream and shout and notice what life is really all about. Poetry is my soul speaking. Are you listening? Poetry helped me read between the lines every time, to focus on what wasn't there, to include the views of those I needed to hear. Poetry showed me the beauty in the working day. When I was lost in misfit, fitting in and falling out, poetry illuminated the way and showed me what life is all about. Poetry is my soul speaking. Am I listening? Poetry has a different way of thinking, blinking in the beauty of what if, seeing possibilities of what could be, seeing everything in the fertile void, devoid of imagery. Those blind spots blindsided me with blinding insights, despite the lack of light. Poetry gave me a way to communicate, even when blind and dumb and abandoned by everyone. Poetry is my soul speaking, listening. I am finally listening. Thank you.
That was beautiful and from the heart. Well wrought. Thank you so much, Kate. That was wonderful. And next we have Rorschach. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi. Thanks. Hi, everybody. Really happy to see everybody, everybody who I know and the new people who I'm meeting. So it's wonderful. And thanks, Amy and Lesley, for inviting me. So I've been working on a big poem that I wrote down a lot of verses when I visited New York in March. And it's turning out to be one big poem that's coming together as I'm transcribing and editing. But one thing I like about long poems is often they have components and you can take smaller pieces out of them. So I'm going to read you some sections from that poem. And these will be the first public reading of these sections. And this is the overall work is called Rorschach, New York. And here's 3 sections from kind of the middle part. The first. We don't pay to play. East Village Sunday. Book Club Bar. Jane's spoken word. I'll be on bass. Open mics want $15 cover charge and for you to buy drinks. Hauling in amps and equipment for a 5-minute spot. Hey, I have got a gig. That's not a gig. We don't pay to play. Some do this to play. Some do this for play. Some do this as a play. We do it for life. We don't have a trust fund. We need pay to play. We do have to eat. Second part that I'm going to read here. Midtown. If we need a drink in Times Square, Jimmy's Corner has cheap booze and beers. Unbelievable on a quiet afternoon. Where's Brandon anyway? How can one walk through Times Square without an exploding head? Looking at the marquee at Radio City Music Hall, Bobby Weir and Wolf Bros arrive just after I leave, which is okay. See Bob again sometime. Adele's famous halal food across 6th Avenue tonight. George M. Cohan statue, 7th Avenue and Broadway. You can't bring down the curtain on a George M. Cohan production. Territory here, much bigger than the map. Heart of New York. These few midtown blocks, so much it bends and overwhelms. I see the dropped ball, 2022. You are not in California right now, native son. And the next part is called On and Off the Grid. Eating at the buffet, food emporium, and Amish kitchen. Repeat visits to Jimmy's, liquid refreshment. Most of Manhattan on the grid, avenues and streets with numbers. But down below Houston Street, the lower and oldest part of Manhattan, the streets are eccentric. Broadway, the trickster street, weaves its way from downtown and even up on the grid and off the grid. It winds its own merry way. And this will be the last bit I'll read here. And this is called Rorschach on the Hudson. Out of the city on the Hudson Valley Railroad to Croton on Hudson. For dinner with John F. McMullen and Mahopac Poets Group. Rorschach feted in style. Famous San Francisco poet on a magical mystery tour. They conclude the meal with a Roman candle, and then they set my ice cream on fire. Thanks.
What a delightful journey again. Walking history of New York City. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You. Wow. So beautiful.
I'll put a link to my information in the chat.
Oh, please do. Please do.
Thanks, everybody.
And we're looking forward to seeing that long poem.
So yeah, when I get it all together, David Leo Suarez says he'll give me a feature on Spoken World online to read the whole thing all the way through.
Love
so
it.
That's something I'm looking forward to.
Wow, marathon. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Well, oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Would anyone else like to read who hasn't yet read? We've got Generalissimo Bryan Franco.
Shalom,
There you
everyone.
are. Welcome.
Shalom, everyone. I'm going to read some new pieces. So they're still working through them. Where is this? I was just looking at it. I'm sorry. The first is called A Letter I Have Tattooed on the Underside of My Skull. Dear Depression, I spent so much extra time on that first mattress I spent extra money on that a depression formed that didn't spring back. It became a shallow grave of padded memory foam over wrapped coils that became collapsed springs. I guess your presence in my life created a new definition for progress. Luckily, I was able to replace that mattress with a select comfort mattress. My sleep number is 100. I prefer my mattress and pillows to be extra firm when my wherewithal is artificially lower than what you arbitrarily decide it should be. Or maybe I should listen to your words and realize you are a scourge of misinformation. You are Alex Jones trying to peddle a warped conspiracy theories that my traumas and mistakes are false flag missions, but they are not false flag missions because I own them. And yes, I have hoarded them in labeled Ziplocs in the freezer till freezer burn surrounds each one's ability to be cryogenically revived because I can accept that you live inside me, but I do not have to let you out to play. Sincerely, the keeper of the keys to the gateway of my happiness. Poem number 2. Whilst tying slip knots, don't let your knuckles get in the way. Cerebellum Mental, the poet philosopher, has said, fight means a place is safe but never is. The boxing ring will rope you in for a fight an opponent never shows up to, but somehow wins because it's easier for your opponent to fight dirty. They might slip on some brass knuckles under their gloves. They might always jump at you from the turnbuckle. They might hit below the belt with their words when they talk about you behind your back. When they reach out to shake hands, watch out for unexpected uppercuts. How do you fight back clean when they only fight dirty? Sometimes the best way to fight is to refuse to fight, not conceding, acceding, letting the bully know they are the only one fighting. And when they fight with fists, they silence their minds. And where is this? I'm sorry, I had it somewhere. It's called The Most Expensive Gift You Bought Yourself Online on Black Friday. Allow me to introduce myself. I am your insecurity blanket. As a textile made from a combo of Pakistani cashmere, New Zealand merino wool, and Mongolian silk, I promise nothing that touches your skin or soul will feel more luxurious than I. Take your time to make your decisions to the detriment of timeliness. When you wrap me around yourself, you will never freeze or sweat, but you will doubt the sincerity of all praise and compliments. I am here for you to generate skepticism concerning all the positivity that happens in your life. Hugs will feel like they are made of concrete. Kisses will be laced with acid. As a result, I will be the only option you have left after you've done everything wrong I have convinced you is right, so I can expand and encompass more of your aura. Unless and until you realize I am all in your mind. Thank you.
Brilliant. So brilliant. Read your comments, man. You got lots of great comments too.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate your letting me jump in.
You were so welcome. Thank you. Anytime. And now we have Deborah. Deborah.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'm enjoying everybody's readings. This has been amazing. I haven't been able to really like doing the chat because I'm on my cell phone and I'm just trying to figure out when I try to chat, I can't figure out how to get back on the screen. And it makes me nervous every time I chat because I'm like, I can't get back in there. But anyway, I appreciate everybody's and I just want to share that. I want to read, if you will all indulge me, 2 poems. One is called Exposure of a Caste. I watched as racism rushed out of you like blood from a deep cut. I could see blood stains on your hands and regalia as you chose white privilege over democracy that night. You think your white skin is translucent, but it is clear what lies inside. Hatred and anger for any person of color that proves, even with your exploitation and hate, they still can rise. governing with your fake crown, protesting you are deserving. You proclaim you fight hard for your high rank in the oligarchy. Who are you kidding? Your worth was ascribed, not earned. You were born into wealth. Yours is not a story of rags to riches. Only your arrogance allows you to believe that is the truth. You are frustrated when you are dismissed by someone of a lower caste, angered when a black or brown brother or sister passes you in the ranks. You have justified in your mind it's okay to call blacks and browns criminals and illegals, pronouncing your superiority while them you belittle. Lock them up, throw away the key, you say. I have no use for them. Shoot them, starve them, enslave them, take their rights away. No longer off my tax dollars will their children be nourished. Why should my hard-earned money be given to them in hopes that they will flourish? Continue to live with a blindfold over your eyes. Go on preaching your creed about how this country was promised to people like you, bestowed upon the pale skin under the assumption of a manifest destiny. This allows you to be deliberately obtuse about the harm you cause others with your violence and greed. Keep kids in cages so that your children don't have to compete. This only benefits you, but white privilege you can't see. You wear your tainted sacred thread like an honor badge, telling everyone your war stories about how you fought to get everything you have. You speak with righteous indignation to your mega hat-wearing crowd, brainwashing your followers into believing you are bringing America back to a nation it once was, when only people that look like you were worshipped, respected, and deserved to be treated like royalty, demanding your believers charge the White House, ordering them to kill anyone who demonstrated their disloyalty on Capitol Hill, convincing your henchmen that blacks and browns are replacing them, and soon whites will be placed dead last in the cast. You recruit your ignorant to fight your war to eliminate the threat of having to live in a world where your white skin is seen as repulsive, dangerous, and no longer of any worth. You quiver at not having any value in this newly colored world. You will be dethroned and forced to see that you were never deserving. I see that smirk on your face as you push that wheelbarrow of generational wealth down the street, piled so high with things you claimed you earned, while exploiting, raping, robbing, lynching, beating, and brutally murdering blacks and browns, so that you can continue to keep your place of sovereignty. You are burning books so you never have to speak of the past apologetically, hoping your children and grandchildren never see the truth. The grand finale is soon to come when you become accustomed to disregard, and your work will be devalued. Serving the regal should be done without financial reward. Your schools will be lined with police acting as Department of Corrections guards, preparing you for your future in the prison yard. For your white skin will be viewed as a threat. We will count your young and predict how many prison beds we need in the coming decade. We must lock away your young adults before they revolt against the brutality. We must incarcerate your youth before self-loathing and killing become commonality. No books for you to read, for we the people have determined that education is lost on you. No food to eat unless you beg. Free lunch comes with a loss of dignity. Once the revolution is over and we take that one last knee, you will be forced to beg for favors from people you lynched, burned, and left in poverty. Good luck with the future once your new destiny is discerned. There is no returning, for those bridges have already been burned. That was poem 1. And let me scan up here real quick to my second one. Okay. This one is called, I read about you in the newspaper today. I read about your untimely death in the newspaper today. The obituary did not have a lot to say. He was survived by 2 daughters, a wife, and a cat. He worked for 40 years in the same manufacturing plant. Just last year, he retired. Sadly, his retirement was short-lived. He believed in the Lord and was a loving, gentle man. The obituary went on to say he had made peace with God and had gone to a better place. For all of his life, he had been a hard worker and in need of a well-deserved rest. I didn't know you, but I recognized the deep lines on your face, your hair tinted gray, and the slight smile that you faked. I could see the frowns on the faces of those who depended on you, as they reflected in your eyes so blue. You were fighting to survive with no love around. I would have loved you, but we never had a chance to meet. You were so busy working all your life because you had mouths to feed. I would have stood beside you as you fought to take that last breath, but we never got a chance to meet, and that is something I will always regret. Although my eyes never looked into yours and our hands never touched, I saw you nightly in my dreams, and I thought about you so much. We shared the same passion and love for humanity, a desire to live in a country where we were truly safe and free. We were, or we were, where we weren't chained to a job we hated, sweating 10 hours a day in a factory just to make ends meet. You died living in a house you never owned. Your credit card debt weighed on you heavily, indeed. While financial investors used the interest you paid from your debt to remodel their penthouse suites with a view, looking down on those who had to borrow to possess necessities like food, healthcare, transportation, education, and a roof over their heads. I heard just days before you died, you told your wife, honey, I always thought I would have built for us a better life. When you went on strike requesting no more than a living wage, the spin doctors quickly silenced you and took your credibility away. I recognize this power move. It has been done so many times before. Who determines whose truth gets heard? Who determines the worth of your words? Who decides who gets to sit at the throne, hoarding wealth while others are hoarding wealth while exploiting their fellow man? Why was the man in the suit and tie valued at 1,000 times your worth? What the hell did he ever produce that was of any use? Now that you are gone, I will make one last promise. Your fight will not stop here, and your voice will be heard. For I will command the self-appointed king to listen to your demands. I will continue the struggle by writing down on a page the inequities of how people are viewed as deserving to get paid. I will continue to profess in your name everything I hate about inequality, lies, and people being pompous and fake. I know we never met, but I studied your eyes on that obituary page today. Your struggles killed me your struggles killed you while in the battle to be valued for your work, demonstrated by economic security and an adequate income. Were you not worth working hard and still failing to provide basic needs for your family? Today, I've chosen to fight for social justice and respect for the working class. Empathizing with your forced smile and tired eyes ripped my heart out. Because of this, I will continue to document your struggle. I will never quit. I too will die in combat to bring justice to a world that devalues and discards those that die to provide us with the goods and services we all need to survive. I didn't know you, but I will hold you close to my heart as I continue to fight against something that just isn't right. The end. Thank you.
Your
Thank
words
you
are
all.
so prophetic. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me share. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, so powerful. Reality. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Next, we have Michael Sindler.
Hey, yeah. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hey, good. Yeah, so sorry to be here late. Sorry I missed everybody's stuff, and it just guts me to have not been able to be here for Lesley's set. That being said, I'll read some fairly recent stuff. Some of y'all probably heard some of it because I see you all the time, but that's a good thing. I'll start with this one. It's called History's Ride. And the epigraph is, "The sea is not a question of power." Adrian Rich. Our histories ride over the wave, surfing its foam-tipped curve. Some slide onto civilization's crystalline shores and become the flotsam that is myth. Some sink deep under and drift down, forgotten tales littering the seabed of experience, clumping together like coral. This mass of lost memory awaits phantom divers never to descend, longs for light to filter over saga, slowly bleached, worn color of dying curiosity, endless blank, exhausted hours of black silence. Storytellers on the shore gather shells and stones, bubbles smoothed into partition narrative detail, string them into ornamental oracle, offer them as understanding. Each bead settling uneasily in order between each an unseen chasm lies, obscure detritus held in deep holds, keys to connections without which no new wrought chronicle can be testament to time's treasured truth. Instead, a mere amalgam from azure, haphazard yield of gem and junk, poorly fastened facile choker, costume paste finery regarded as regalia will not reveal the true treasure entombed and undiscovered far below. And let's do another wet one. This is called Water. I spoke to the stone. Its reply was an echo, a hard lesson on how to listen, on how to learn from repetition. I spoke to the fire. Its reply was warm, its crackling voice wavering and leaping, full of blistering passion. I spoke to the wind. Its reply was chilling, lashing in its silent rebuke, leaving no room for response. I spoke to the water, each word rippling on its shimmering skin. Its reply sang in waves and babbles and roars. Its voice leapt like fire, rushed like wind, sat as still and tranquil as stone, whispering secrets it learned in the clouds. Speaking through the greenery that pulled its voice into their own, a perfumed chorus of floral players. It poured its message into me and through me and out of me again through every pore. Its words war against the stone, rubbing ridges into its brow. It tamed fire, conjoining as steam, reaching new heights, then condensing down to earthier phrasing. It danced on the wind, flying as fable around the globe and back to me. I fell asleep to water's tale, woke wet and clean and thirsting for more. And I'd like to leave y'all with the closest I've come to being able to sort of deal with what's just happened here as of late. And it's just a little tanka. It's called Shove. Take hopes and prayers, hypocrites' lame excuses, shove them up your ass. School shootings every week. Lives matter more than your guns. Okay, thank y'all very much.
Wow, everybody please unmute. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. So well wrought, every word. Just wonderful, thank you. And next, Bryan, would you like to read? Are you wanting
Sure.
to? Yeah.
I just got here
And
because
Greg?
I just came from MAP's memorial service.
Yes.
So I guess there's some Nashville people here who might know who MAP is, but he was one of the founders of Poetry in the Brew, which I guess some of you guys know. I know you do, Amy, because I saw you there many times in various haircuts.
Yes, right.
Okay, so yeah. Let's see here. Okay. This may be a little bit of a different tone from what I've heard so far in the last 20 minutes, but here we go. Any dwarfs here? Show of hands. Dwarfs. Okay, just a few. So I think I can get by with this one. This is called Why Dwarfs Can't Dunk. Dwarfs can't dunk because they're too short. Halfway to the rim, they're forced to abort and land lightly back to Earth, wondering why in the hell, since their birth, they haven't grown much bigger. Then seeing on TV huge black dudes jam the rock through the hoop while barely leaving their feet. Can dwarfs do that? Rarely. Oh, my little ones, think twice before planning those NBA careers. Your chance of outmanning the league's behemoths is vanishingly small. Maybe don the stripes and be a ref. Your call. Okay, no blowback from dwarfs on that one. That's good. Okay. Somebody just said a cuss word in his last poem, Michael. No, I'm not reciting any, going to name any names here, but so that inspires me to be able to read this one. Which is called The Atrophy of Cussing. The Atrophy of Cussing, which, well, okay, let's just read it. Don't explain it, just read it. The Atrophy of Cussing. Back in the day, I cussed a lot. When I lived in Massachusetts, the popular words we all know. I guess it was the habit of repeating what I heard until I moved to the South, where cussing is a big freaking deal. Up north, every gal from pimply tweens to cranky grandmas, and every guy old enough to crawl from the cradle spouts GD all the time without a moment's thought. And all it means is that ticks me off big time. For example, O'Casey says, "God damn those Celtics, they sucked again last night. Goddamn snowplow driver fucked up my lawn." Let's be clear, and not to be too school marmy about this, but there's a difference between profanity and vulgarity. Profanity is a mockery of the sacred, like God or mom. Subject not sacred, then words not profane. Vulgar, as in crude references to sex or body parts, is what I am. Why? Because that's what they deserve. Kiss my ass. In the examples above, the two goddams are profane, or they would be if O'Casey believed in God. Sucked and fucked up are simply vulgar. So glad we did that. Now, in Nashville, you say GD and you're wishing your victim literally to be in hell. I repeat, to us, it truly means, may God damn you to the eternal flames for real and right now. Word like nobody ever says it. And if they do, watch out. Especially if they're a preacher or his wife. I don't know how it happened, but now, oh my goodness, when I stub my toe, instead of invoking the Baroque cusses of my youth, I scream, gosh darn it, shoot, or drat the luck, like any pussy or old maid. Is it fear of my own damnation, advancing age, creeping bougieism, or just the fact that you can say goddamn, and motherfucker only so many times in your life before you OD, and then the subconscious hands you a note reading, what say we dial it back a notch, cowboy? So class, to summarize, only profanity counts as cussing. Although beware, even vulgarity will get you bounced from venues like Little League games and Zoom calls. Oh, by the way, for you damn Yankees, cussing means cursing. All right.
Very fun.
That was really fun. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping us laugh. We needed that. Greg, did you want to read?
Sure, I'd love to.
Good, thanks.
This is called Place Where People Used to Live. I come from a place where people used to live, where people used to dance, some that I knew, some that I didn't, where I sang outside when these people were alive. You can't find it by chance, you have to try hard to remember. The place where the people used to live and the way to descend there. The ages of beauty gone by held in the heart like a dream of a picture of the people who were always throwing their arms around me. So much life here that only now used to be. So many roots you have to imagine, for they're not so simple to see. I come from a place where I used to live, where the trees know all the songs that I used to sing. I learned to fill up the space, coming from such an empty place, full of myself and the strain to create, burning bright from another time, ancient life caught in the current line, a place where things used to be, being the place where the light was derived, ancient life in the younger eyes, a sign of the time when it was right to thrive, where they used to believe what has now come to be, but barely even denied. A trip to make my mind return to arrive in the place where all the people used to be alive, like me. I raised myself up in a cemetery, the only place the peace wasn't temporary. Yes, even in the dark, and no, it was never scary. Bits of silver and of gold in case, for the ferry. Where heroes never known lie in rest, and it is their rest I somehow have to come to carry. It is the peace that was made filling in the fields of the legendary, drawing me to the place where I might learn the lesson in silence of the sacrifice. I might add up the years passed by of a child's life. There another husband, here another wife, learning what it means to come from a place where all the people used to really be alive. We used to be a family, but that was in another life. It was a place where people used to live. I think I'll do another short one here. It's kind of a fun. I wanted to be the Kerouac of the 90s kids. I wanted to be the Ferlinghetti of the late 70s babies, the Gary Snyder of the 80s, the Allen Ginsberg of the millennium, the Burroughs of the new dawn, the William Blake of the modern age, the Milton and Pope of some future frame, the T.S. Eliot of which Dylan sang and played. I wanted to make Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad all proud, to breed love in the midst of the madding crowd. I wish Plato would correct me a bit, that Socrates could ask me how. One can be fashioned into a feather or a hammer, the fashioning of which dictating the terms of their use. I made myself into a library of wisdom. Libraries are a lonely space, a universe of thoughts and experiences ready to burst, abound in the page. We all write the play of our own freedom. We also all design our own cave. The mind is such a powerful thing. A little vision goes a long, long way. I wonder so much how Pythagoras prayed. Of course, I'd like to please also the fathers and the mothers, but seem more fit to serve some of this list of others. Have we lost the wit and will of our instinct? What future could there be for such senseless and insensible things? There's nothing one must know if one seeks to learn to sing. To put the truth into words alone is too much a torturous trade. Better to look to the way that the music was made before it was made. Knowing there is nothing to destroy, one may as well find their way to create. In the image of a thing we are in that's beyond shape and state, and to remain metaphysically unafraid, coming of age in the age that I come from, not what I should be, and somehow that provides me some comfort. Eyes dried by delusion, the mission given by the ghosts I've made, spoken in words carefully and craftily spake. Incomplete and on the edge of being out of range, the joy and woe of the conscious mind of the modern age. Finding the timeless nature of the ancient ways. I always wanted to be what I one time could have been, champion of the world. Follow what stands to reason as it leaves you so alone. Crossing the same river so many times, trying to prove one can make their way back home. Hoping to see wisdom and truth and beauty could be believed in the midst of the life amid the dumb iron dome. If magic can indeed be made from stones, just think of the magic of your mind under your own control, toward which unseen hands seem to wish we would grow, of which the world never seems to leave us, to the peace to know. Have I had one or too many heroes, or am I wanting from a few too few? Have I only ever wanted to be myself and to feel like I feel like a hero to you?
So profound, wise, powerful, inspiring. Thank you so much. I'm really
Thank
glad
you all
you
for
read.
listening.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to read? We have a Charles Revealed. I don't know. Okay, well, I'm going to read some if that's okay. Oh gosh, wait, what have I done?
That's very okay.
Thank you. The first one, these are all really new. The first one's called It's Time. It hurts when they lie. So-called patriots are sometimes traitors. It stains us, tarnishes reality to have bullshit thrown at it daily. It hurts us all. To rev the engine is to have a release. It's easier to drive than think. Walk for a change. Try to get in the right frame of mind. Keep changing perspectives like lenses. Am I not what I seem to myself? Soft on the outside and deep breaths bring bitterness, grief, and relief. Ride the waves of life's ups and downs with the grace of those nature beings who know how to fly, swim, float. Butterflies, bees, dinosaur birds, ancient fish. Smelling lilac for the first time up close. It rains like finally breathing after an attack of anxiety. Everyone gets a good drink from my drink today, not from my hand. I'm grateful. Tomato and flower seedlings, perennial, annual, roses all drink today. A deep sense of calm floats. I can see the birds in the sky without my eyes. You hurt me in my sleep each night and I spend the night a time dreaming of organizing artifacts. It's Mother's Day, and it is like a dark series of welts inside. I have no children. I'm a mother to you, to my friends, to flowers, plants, dogs. I'm charging your offering, gifts, potions, with new arcade fire. Happy Mother's Day. We are not vessels to give birth to a domestic baby supply. What does that even mean? You leave the doors unlocked like in the old days. You are a millennial expressing ancient ways. It hurts when they come after us, body, mind, and soul. We fight. We've been fighting an ancient war all this time. It's time. In time, we end the arms race, class race, race race, battle of the sexes, flip the concrete mind for the organic. Make a juicy offer, they said. How about our very lives? Thelonious Monk creates a new April in Paris. It's like Christmas during the war, layers of hope and despair. Hope wins, love floats. You know what I mean? Let women lead. It's time. Thank you, thank you. I'm going to give you a choice. I've got two, one that I wrote yesterday, kind of, and one that I wrote a while ago. One's called Quality of Life, which is a bit dark, and the other one is When Trees Were God. Any preference?
When trees were gods.
You got it. She walks through the park at 6:30 in the morning with her backpack on, holding onto the straps for safety. It is the ancient time on the planet, dawn. Birds rule with song and flight for a few more hours until we humans wake, make noises of our own en masse. Many forms of prayer, song, gentle, loving thoughts sent from the soul, heart, mind. We now know well the difference between fireworks and gunfire. Too well. Prayer comes in many forms, fills my palmate hands with hope, faith in the good. Butterfly voice, you fly with musical notes. The ambulance just came past. Did they come for you again? Bugs get crushes on flowers this time of year, even flirting with humans. Now I see you out on your bike with a new friend, a new cap on, earbuds. I'm happy for you. I can't check. It's too distressing. Each app has its terrors. We are experiencing multiple wars, ripple effects of trauma. We survive. Gaps between memories and sharp focus. A muddled brain tries to understand. I am made of green tea leaves, steeped in routine. Walking in the woods at church camp in early summers, the woods were better than God, were God, secret tree spirits. Be a changeling. Hew the light inside of you into flame, out of thin air, out of nothing, out of grief, despair. Be the crucible for creating your life out of dreams. Back when trees were God, we had to believe. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you, oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful time we have had. Thank you, Lesley Constable. Oh my gosh. Thank you, everyone.
What a wonderful evening, everyone. It's just amazing. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
I
just
agree.
full up. Thank you so much.
Me too.
Wow.
Me too. It's been a wonderful afternoon. And I'm so grateful for all of you. We're so blessed to be here this moment in time. Thank
Certainly
you.
now.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. You know, I think it's perfect that you had Lesley as a feature, and then we finished off with you because you compliment her so amazingly well. It's just like from Zen to the to the beauty of your poetry and your voice and everything. I think I just love hear you read poetry. There's something very special about the way you do it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. I appreciated it. Everybody did so well. I loved it. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you.
Bye,
Have a blessed evening.
Thank
See
you.
you. Stay strong, poets. Stay strong.
You too.
Namaste.
Man. Namaste.
Bye.
Bye.